And then I just sit there on the side of the road until Gabe come up and was like, hey, you could come watch a race over here with us. And I'm like, no, I'm in purgatory for a while here. I got to stay here until I
flog myself.
Yeah. I'll probably watch that tonight. Hey, what's up, guys? Hey, welcome to Soil Cycling what number was this?
At least 3.
Number 3? No, I think we're on like 12, 11, 12, 10. We'll find out. Hey, welcome back. It's been a while. It's been a summer. It's been a long summer. We are now in the illustrious front area, the shop area, not in the back with the compressor and the mechanic. The shop is officially closed, and so it should be a little bit quieter environment for us to record in tonight. And we got our core group here with us, so let's go around. Of course, I'm Matt.
Gabriel.
Justin.
Hank.
And sorry we've not been with you. If you've been waiting for a podcast from us, we've been busy riding our bikes, or I've been coming up with excuses not to ride my bike, and everybody else has been busy riding their bike. So we got some stuff to go over. Southern Illinois focused, and where we've been riding and what's going on and what's going to happen in the future. So I guess we're going to go back in time a little bit. We're just going to start with Klaus Park, which was part of the premier competition here in Southern Illinois, the Soil Grand Prix, which is really heating up. Maybe we can Gabe's going to get us an update on where everybody stands on that. So, Hank, since you destroyed me at that, you want to tell us about it?
I destroyed you? Is that
well, I mean,
I finished it.
Yeah, I didn't even barely start.
Yeah, that was my first year doing that course, doing that race. I went out about 3 weeks in advance and rode the course for the first time. And it's an interesting course. My only other feedback on it was Matt Golson's video from last year, where he didn't seem to enjoy the way his tummy felt on that course. And I understand you are constantly doing something on that course. And I'm glad I brought my Camelback, because you do not have time to grab your water bottle. But it's a fun course. I'd go ride there again in a heartbeat. Like, I really enjoyed it. It challenged my riding on berms, which is supposed to be easy, but if you don't get to practice that, there's a great place to go practice riding berms.
They're tight too.
Yeah, they're super tight. Yeah, and they messed me up one time when I was on my practice ride, but I'll tell you that one later.
Luckily, that was during the practice ride, not during the race.
I know. Yeah, what happened? There's those on the high side of the course. I don't know what else to call it. You kind of high, and there's some really tight ones that start to go downhill. And if you miss that first one, it messes you up on the second one, and by the third one, you go straight into the berm instead of hitting it at a curve. And I compressed my chest down into my stem really hard. Yeah, sudden stop like that's not good. But anyway, I enjoyed the race. It was great. I loved it. I'll go do that again in a heartbeat. So, but I'd encourage you to go practice that course. You don't have to be highly skilled, from what I can tell. Anyone can do it, but mistakes can be made.
Justin, were mistakes made?
The mistakes were definitely made. That's probably the best way to phrase that. So I blew out the first 4 corners, because I've never ridden there before, and I was just trying to follow the fast boys and picked a few wrong lines and blew out a few corners, and next thing I knew I was sitting in 4th. Lap 1 down at kind of like one of the bottom berms. I got my front wheel put on the wrong side of that, and my ribs still hurt from hitting the ground. So not advisable.
You were caked in dirt. I saw you go around, I was like, well, that figures. He's ate it somewhere.
Yeah, and it's about that's an absolutely normal ride for me.
I think that's a course though that you could excel at.
Yeah, I definitely think I could have done significantly better, and I think I probably will go back and do it again. It's just punchy enough to be hell, and I kind of like that. So we'll probably go back and do it again. Maybe next time I'll have appropriate fork, like rebound and air pressure, so that way I'm not getting my teeth jarred out in every single descent. But yeah, I did have a few other moments, and some of back there in the second bit of woods you got to go through after the gravel climb, forgetting to get my dropper post out of the way in time, and I thought I was far enough back, and I almost went over the bars on one little rolly thingy. Mm-hmm. But yeah. So I wrecked. Everybody came by me.
Yeah. So when we went out, I was like, man, Justin's riding really strong. And I was not. I was out. I played a show really late the night before. Maybe had one too many drinks or two, maybe three too many. But like I woke up and like rolled out of bed. I was like, oh, I have to leave right now, pretty much. So put some coffee on, like ate a pancake, like fed the dogs, and ran out the door. And I called Justin. He's like, yeah, we just got here. And I was like, oh, I'm still in Heron. Can you try to get my registration? Which rightfully so, they didn't give it to him. I guess at a lot of races you have online waivers that you sign, so like anyone can pretty much pick up your bib, but they didn't have that. So I showed up and I had like a team working for me, like Crystal's like airing up my tires, Pat is like helping me get dressed, Justin's doing putting my bib on the bike. I can't remember exactly how it went down, but I showed up because, you know, it's part of the solo Grand Prix, and I pretty much immediately realized that my stomach couldn't handle that. And I did one lap, and I like hung with the kind of front group for a little bit, but then basically just was like, I'm just gonna ride. And I did 2 laps and like called it, and of course everyone's like yelling at me like, you can do another lap, and I was like, no, I can't. And they're like, yeah, you can. No, really, I'm about to hurl. And so I had a really good time just sitting at the sideline and like cheering people on. I always actually, I enjoy racing a lot. I also really enjoy just being at the events. I don't know. I wish maybe classes were actually separated out more so I could watch more people race.
Yeah, there's great place for the spectators to watch.
That race.
That race is a great spectator race. It reminds me of a cyclocross race.
Yeah.
Where you can kind of just go stand in the middle and just like follow your favorite rider around as you're just like pivoting on a Lazy Susan or something. Like you can just easily see everything.
See riders from many different directions.
Yes.
So
I don't even really want to talk about it. We'll just say that this summer has not really gone the way I hoped it would go for me for riding, and I have not really felt right, especially since the Soil Trans Am. But I don't know. That was I think the weekend after that. Mm-hmm. I think it was, and but. It's still, I mean, like, I started, last year I started fast. I rode behind Nate Jones for a while. And then last year I kind of like made the decision to kind of ease back a little bit. And I did really good for a lap. I mean, good for me for a lap. And then I got stomach sick and I quit. I had to quit. Like my stomach, I was going to throw up. But this year is like I started slow and I got slower. And it was like I completely forgot how to ride a mountain bike. It was like it was just really, really bad. As soon as I could see a place to get off the ride, I got off the ride and quit. I just was like, and then I just sit there on the side of the road until Gabe came up and was like, hey, you could come watch a race over here with us. And I'm like, no, I'm in purgatory for a while here. I got to stay here until I
flog myself.
Yeah, no, it was horrible. I just felt it was just like it was weird. It was like my body was like, you're not doing this today, which has been happening a lot. So, but let's move on to something. I guess the next event to talk about is Tour de Donut, which is something I've never done. It's Staunton, Illinois, which is not that far away from us, but it's still a distance. And at a 34-mile race. So this race is a mass start, kind of, it's unsanctioned. It's kind of wild, mass start, 34-mile race. And you eat donuts to lower your time. So I've always thought that was kind of corny, and it wasn't something I was really interested in. But people keep telling me how awesome and how fun it is, and I keep thinking, man, I need to get over myself and go do this donut ride. And so I didn't do it this year, but I wasn't feeling good that day either. I didn't feel like riding. I've been sick a lot this summer too. I've had like 2 or 3 viruses, I think, or something. So, but anyway, I was getting over something that day. Didn't feel like going. But long story short, Justin crashed in the warm-up.
I did crash in the warm-up. The gravel was deeper than I thought it was. I was kind of just like riding through town, and just kind of like warming up like 10, 15 mile an hour and just like kind of going in circles around these
Wait,
blocks.
this isn't a gravel ride, is it?
No,
No.
it's not. It's just downtown Staunton.
Yeah.
I loved the ride, by the way. I loved the ride. I thought it was super fun, but I did crash during the thing. Chewed up a derailleur, chewed up the drifter, knocked my derailleur hanger all out of alignment. So much so that like on the next Saturday ride, Gabe was like, "We gotta fix that."
I fixed Justin's derailleur hanger more than
Yeah,
any
he's-
other hanger than I've ever worked on.
Okay, so this year's installment of the donut was fun. AWOL almost caused a crash in the first few miles, which was okay.
Yeah.
Whatever. He stopped like in the middle of the road. Like in the middle of the road.
Well, I heard AWOL attacked the neutral start car and like was going to try to. I don't know. I've heard some interesting
he was
AWOL stories.
He was this far from the police car, which is fine. Whatever. Let him. He did his thing. On the first big downhill, there was a big wreck. You can go.
Was that the turtle wreck?
That was a turtle wreck. A guy hit a turtle on the front row, and we were about 5 wide, kind of like all the way across the road, and 700 people deep. So you can imagine how many people that impacted.
I think it impacted a lot. I saw a video.
it
People that
did.
were well behind you
Yeah. So
were dodging turtles, and it looked chaotic to me. I thought this is probably more dangerous than like an opening stage of the Tour de France. Like there's riders all over the place. They're falling all over the place in the video I saw.
So I had to take to the gravel on the side of the road, but it was fine.
But you'd warmed up on gravel.
I did warm up on gravel, so I
and you already had your wrecks.
Yeah, I was able to keep it up, get safely off the road, back on the road.
Had your Durilla hanger tuned,
Yeah,
ready to go.
It was completely kerchowed, but that's okay. Rode chase back onto the front group. They were doing some wattage, so I had to like chase back on. Ran into Katie and Gene, and I was like, "Come on, guys, get on! Let's get back up to the front group." And what I've realized, guys, like, no offense to anybody who ever does that, but everybody's like, "I want to be in the second group on the road."
Yeah.
But what I realized by that is what they mean by the second group on the road is they want to fall off the front group at some point in time.
Yeah.
Now, it doesn't matter how many groups there are on the road, they always fall off in the second group because there's the front group and then there's the second group.
You really don't know where the front group is.
And you don't know
the people in front of you probably think are the front group.
And they're probably not.
And there's probably 3 front groups in front of that front group.
Because we were doing 24, 25, because I caught back on, managed to ride with them, got faked out by a fake donut stop. I didn't realize it was not a donut stop. It kind of looked like the donut stops, but it had a big like white canopy, and I pull over there, and I was like, all right, I pulled out of the pace line. I was like, sorry guys, I gotta go like get some donuts and eat these things.
Were you going for a donut time, or
Dude,
were you
I was-
going for
I was just kind of
overall ride time, or just whatever?
a little bit of both, right?
Okay.
Just kind of go out and
You were there.
I was there. I was present.
Yeah.
I was omnipresent.
Going for the experience.
So yeah, I was going for the experience. So I got to the second sack stop with everybody, threw back some donuts. Katie came in with Gene after about 5 minutes of me being there, so I just kind of like hung out, let them eat. And then I was like, oh, I'm not feeling super full, so I pulled Katie to the win, which was my
Well, good job. I heard she won her overall woman, right?
yeah.
Good
yeah,
deal.
She won. She almost busted a wheel. Gabe, you almost got a little extra business there.
Nice.
We hit a pothole. She hit a pothole. But yeah, it was good. I don't think I can ever win that event because the guy who won it went like 20 minutes slower than me, but ate like, what did I say, 28 donuts?
I think they bring in some professional eaters. They bring in some ringers.
Well, that's fine. So I have a strategy for next year, and I think that Southern Illinois can pull the men's race off.
Yeah.
It's not going to be me, but it'll be somebody else.
I think it'd be cool to go. I thought if I ever went to that, I would just completely skip the donuts and just do a 34-mile time trial. Because I think if I ate a donut in the middle of a race like that, it would be coming out like some. And Glenn said that's oh, who?
Huh?
What?
Glenn? Gene? What?
Gene. I keep calling him Glenn today. Says what's wrong with me? I'm like, what's his name? Guy I talk to twice a week. Glenn, Gene. Gene said that throwing up is just a normal part of that race.
I
Did you see anybody throw up?
I didn't throw up. No, I didn't see anybody throw up. I came real close, because after the last donut stop is like all the elevation gain, and I can tell you it starts to come up at the end. And you're like,
are there any time trial bikes at that race?
No, I didn't see anybody on a time trial bike.
Do you know if that's not allowed to have a time trial bike there?
I can promise you'd be faster on a road bike because you'd be able to sit in the packs.
Yeah.
I don't think they have any rules.
They have rules.
Oh, do they?
You can't ride an e-bike. You can't draft off an e-bike.
Okay.
If you ride an e-bike, you can't win.
Oh, okay.
But I told Crystal you should just ride an e-bike because I finished it and then I went back and got her from the second donut stop and rode her in. So
cool.
It was a big day for me.
Yeah. Would you do that, Hank?
Would I do that?
Yeah. Do the donut ride.
Yeah, next year.
Did you do that right?
Everything's
I planned on doing it this year, but I ended up having to be here at the shop.
We'll fix that for
So we'll bring the SoL hit squad and we'll try to bring it home.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm the team leader on that or not.
Yeah. You're the road captain.
But I think Justin and I were talking about it. I think if there's 4 or 5 of us, we were talking strategy after it. I think it's possible for one of us to win that. And I'm not going to say the strategy right now, but I mathed it out. And I think we can possibly beat their ringers. So
on the eating side or the biking
no,
side?
I don't think we
Overall net time.
Overall net time. I don't think we're gonna eat 26 donuts, but
No, I'm not.
But yeah, I think we got it if we actually decide to do it.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see about that next year. So, Dust Bowl time. This is Dust Bowl 100. So, this is
1 week post.
1 week ago for me. First time doing it. I guess it's pretty safe to say that the Dust Bowl is probably, I don't know if it's, I would guess it's probably the premier event within a few hours of us, like premier bike event. Other than maybe like Gateway or something. It's definitely a premier gravel event. I mean, I don't think it's quite fair that it has a bigger profile than Dirty South, but I mean, obviously it does. And I think maybe being close to Indy and also the fact they seem to be bringing in, I don't know. I mean, maybe, well, they got the star power of Dizzle. So, you got him at the race.
They probably had 15 domestic probably pros there, maybe.
Yeah.
In where Dirty South, we have 5.
Yeah.
Probably 5 to 10 maybe show up.
And a whole bunch of us hacking around it.
And we'll talk about the course and the quality of the course and what what Gabe thinks about it after this. But I had a great time at this race because I went into this thing thinking I went with the villain of Southern Illinois. I went with Hargis, and I really expected that I was going to try to find a way to get off of the course again at some point and get back. I wasn't expecting to finish the 100-mile ride. I've never done 100 miles on gravel, and it turned out good for me after about an hour and a half. I don't know what the first hour and a half was. Absolutely horrible. A lot of problems, physical problems dealing with. But once I got past an hour and a half, I started actually having fun. And so, So Hank, when you did this last year, you didn't go back this year. Was there a reason, or was it just
doing a 100-mile gravel race in the heat of summer, in the middle of summer? Not the race, training up for it. I wasn't gonna do it this year.
Yeah,
I'm gonna do it again.
Well, I didn't train.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, that's why you had so much fun.
Yeah, that's why.
That's the secret to enjoying.
I didn't train. I hadn't rode my gravel bike. This is actually pretty funny. I hadn't actually rode my gravel bike since Dirty South, and I'd taken parts off of it for other bikes, so I had to go find the parts for it and put it back together the couple days before. I did one little short ride on it, and I'm like, I think it works, and. So I was adjusting the seat and stuff position in the hotel room, got it kind of tuned up and ready to go. But I wasn't thinking of this as a competitive event. To me, it was like a bike tour. And I'm going to say if you go to the Dust Bowl with the attitude that this is sort of like a timed, fun bike ride, it's perfect for that. Because you don't. There's so many people that are just cramping at mile 60 and walking around in circles like they don't know where they're at, that you're going to have fun. If you can finish a 100-mile ride, it's going to hurt, but you're going to have fun. So, but yeah, Hargis did really good, as I expected he would. He has trained. What was your time last year? Do you remember?
Off the top of my head, I don't. 6 something? Just over 6?
Yeah. Good time.
I don't know.
And you were right at 6.
Well, I must have been slower than that because you were faster than me.
Yeah, I think I was like 6 on the dot.
Yeah.
So I do have a question about Dust Bowl. I was talking to Hargis on Wednesday.
Uh-huh.
Were you in the front group?
No, I would like to talk about that, but no. Go ahead.
Because he was saying, oh, for the first 100K, I literally averaged 150 watts. They were just noodling up there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I hate it. But obviously, somebody that might give somebody like me false confidence to want to go do something, and I look over and I see Dizzle or any of the other fast boys, and it's they're gonna shut down anything I want to do.
Yeah,
6:01 was
6
my time. 6:01.
so I think I did that pretty much.
Which you said was your goal. Was
I knew what power I had to average. It's crazy what math can do.
Yeah.
I knew exactly. I looked at my numbers the last month, and I was like, I think I can basically do 6 hours if I just pretty much, I don't know. I could probably solo 6 hours if I really wanted to. But what I should have done, you asked if I was in the front group, I have a bad habit of showing up to rides not quite knowing what my goal is.
Yeah.
and so I'm always caught in between man, I just really want to have a fun, what you said, a fun kind of social
Tour
ride.
Yeah.
And then also I have the competitive side that doesn't come out a ton always of oh, this is a race and I want to ride fast. So shout out to
I'm going to talk about that in a minute.
Drew Deegan, our Trek rep here at the shop. Him and I get talking, and we're just in the corral.
Yeah.
And no one is listening to the way they set up the corral. They have your expected finishing times.
Yeah.
And so
we'll get into that.
I set up in I think it was 5.5 to 6.5 or something corral. And I was yeah, this is probably where I'm at. There's people on Huffies walking past me, and I'm and sorry, I'm sure there's some people out there that could ride a Huffy and beat me, but I'm sorry to say these people were not those. You are not that guy that's going to beat me on this Huffy. But so I just kind of let it happen because I'm in the mindset of this is just going to be kind of a casual ride. Well, then we actually start riding. And then all of a sudden my brain switches to
race mode.
This is a race. And so I'm not going to say that I pulled whole groups for the first 50 miles, but I was definitely pulling a lot of groups up. I caught 4 or 5 different groups in the first 45 to 50 miles. And I wasn't on the front the whole time, but I was a lot till finally I did catch a group of some roadies, and I know they were roadies because they were on the brakes on the downhills, and I think these. I'm not sure if this.
We're right here. We can hear you.
I'm not sure if this is an indie thing, and you can throw the hate my way. I think it's a bunch of flatlanders because they would be on the brakes on the downhills, and then. Every single downhill that was there was followed right by an immediate climb.
Yeah.
They would just lay anchor on these climbs, and instead of kind of keeping your momentum up and none of these climbs were big. If you climb any hill in Southern Illinois, you can go here and climb these hills.
There was one climb.
There was one steep one. There
was a super steep but crazy short one that was
very
20% or something.
Yeah, I'm okay, it's 20% for 10 seconds, or 5 seconds.
Yeah.
It was no big deal. But then there's kind of somewhere. I don't remember where it was at, but there was somewhere where there was a climb that was kind of sustained.
Yeah.
But not really
Yeah.
a Southern Illinois
So-
sustained climb.
Yeah, so I would like stand up to keep momentum up and would just drop this group. Like guys that I was having a hard time holding their wheel in the flats, like I was having to work to stay in the group and then just be like dropping them on the climb. So I was just like in this weird group dynamic with
Sounds great so far, Dave.
these people. So
Go on.
yeah, I also got yelled at for
Got
also,
yelled at?
yeah, for maybe being too hard of race mode. A train came, and the guards start coming down,
And you're
people-
going for it?
Oh yeah, people were like yelling like we're stopping. I was like, no.
That train's a quarter mile
Oh
away.
yeah, I know. I was like, I'm not stopping, and so I like threw the things, and I like
Gonna get DQ'd for that.
there wasn't a marshal there, and also someone yelled at me for cutting course. It's not taped, and
No, it's not.
through like that town section,
Yeah.
and there was like parking lots, like yeah, whatever.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah,
I cut that course there too. I
Yeah.
know exactly what you're talking about. I'm almost
yeah.
sure.
if it's not taped, it's part of the course.
Yeah.
and
There's an arrow. You go that way. Somewhere between that arrow and that road, you need to go that way.
yeah. Anyway, so like a group. This is actually right when I made contact with the like kind of faster road group, and like all that faster road group pretty much followed. And the guy and most of the people I've been riding with, like for the last 40 miles, did not get past the train. And then, so we show up to the SAG stop. It's mile 62. I'm feeling pretty good, but I didn't realize that this whole group that I was with had like people with them, like support
Oh.
and stuff. So we get to the SAG, or they were just like more organized. The night before, I was not in race mode, so I was just like filling up my bottles and like threw scratch in my bottles. They just like grabbed bottles, or people were passing them stuff and they were gone. So I lost the group I was with, and kind of rode like solo or ones and twos the rest of the way. But that's when I started like being out of race mode, and all of a sudden I was like, man, this course is not fun. Because I'm riding by myself on these like flat roads, and all of a sudden I was like riding out like 150 watts for the next, and I just was not feeling it. And at mile like 80 I was in 130th place, and then when I finished I was in 230th place.
Yeah.
And I thought I was like feeling really bad, like I wasn't cramping at all, I just like wasn't.
So the way those times work is that you were 230th place out of everybody who did that just for that one section.
Oh, okay.
So you didn't finish, because like I was 208th place in the last section. So I rode the last section faster than you, but that's just that times from the time, like it takes the time you enter that part of the course and the time you exit that
Okay.
course.
So I'd have to look.
So
for sure, people were passing.
Because I couldn't figure that out, because I got 263rd place, but then it said I did that and I was like pretty happy. I was like, oh, 208th, yeah, not bad. Top 50%, and I was like, well, how did I finish in 208th? But also, and I figured it out. It's like each section.
Okay.
So just to give you an idea how my start was, I was 322nd in the first sector, which was like mile 1 through 20 or something.
Yeah.
And then, like every sector, I was a little faster. But just speaking about race mode and whatever, and,
Yeah, go for
and
it.
tour
Sorry.
and fun stuff. When I went to that ride, like I said, I started. The corral is weird in that ride. And it's not really weird. It's just not like what I'm used to, because it's so structured. Like I'm thinking, just get to where you should get, and there's plenty of room. And,
Oh yeah,
and
there was like rules, and
Yeah.
my mind was like, "Oh, this is set up well.
Yeah.
If everyone follows the rules,
Yeah.
this will be awesome."
and right, and because it's people are going to be like,
You
well,
guys didn't talk before this ride, did you?
not.
Gabe and Hank.
No,
Okay.
They didn't reveal secrets.
I was gonna say, I think we're gonna save a lot of time.
But I went to the part. It
Well,
said,
once you get out of the corral and you go past the gate, it's a free for all.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
corrals don't do too
But-
much, unless you're
well,
in the winning group. like,
but also in
up
my
front.
mind, I was still kind of like, "Well, everyone around me is like the same strength as me."
Yeah.
because we were in the
It-
no one's been like moving up and down a ton.
well, okay, so I went to the back of the corral because I was like, I'm not even going to finish this race. I'm just here for I don't know why I'm here. And I went to the back of the crowd, and I was in like the 12 or 13 mile an hour pace section. And behind me, there was like a finish by 6 p.m. cutoff. And nobody was in the 6 p.m. cutoff. Like there was like 3 people like behind me that pulled up behind me. And then a bunch of people that started showing up, and they're like, well, I'm in the wrong place. And they were trying to get, there's nowhere really to go, but they were trying to get in front of us, and they were kind of cutting their way through there. But like when the race started, it was 7 minutes from when he started till we passed
the gate.
So like that's a long time. And the people that I was riding with, like, and again, I had very little motivation or like, I didn't even feel like I couldn't have went any faster. But like, like at a race, you think you start off, I was going to like blow past these people, but I really couldn't. Like, I was just like, well, I'm just going to hang at 13 or 14 through here. And, I could see probably 2 miles down the road at one point. Because when you come out away from the high school,
sounds like hell.
You can see way, way down the road, and then it turns right and goes onto the gravel, and then the gravel turns left. And I could see smoke just out in the distance, way out in the distance. I'm like, they're 2 or 3 miles ahead of us by now, probably. And that probably was like not even close to the front group. But race mode kicked in for me about an hour and a half in, sort of, when I decided to try to catch up to some people, and I actually found that I could sustain like 160 beats per minute, where earlier in the ride, like 130 made me feel like I was going to have a heart attack. So, but there was a dude who was like, we talked about AWOL a little bit. AWOL, he likes tactics. If you listen to this, you're a tactical rider. There was a tactical rider who, back with me again, I'm in the 7-hour finish group. So we're battling to get in the top half of the finishers, and we're not going to make it in the top half of the finishers. So, obviously it really doesn't matter. But there was this dude who just kept like sticking on my back wheel. Like, I'd look behind me, and he's just back there. And so I'd slow down, he'd slow down, I'd speed up, he'd speed up. And I'd be like, how's it going back there? And he just wouldn't say anything. And I'm like, what? It's just me and this guy. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll pull him around. So I pulled him around for a while. And then as soon as we got to like I don't know, like I'd pulled him for about 4 or 5 miles, and we changed direction onto a highway. This was after the bike trail section. He just blasted past me like boom, And so me and this dude like battled it out for the rest of the ride. And I think that's why I had a pretty fast like final section, because me and this guy like we were like,
I needed that.
It was like body blows, man. He'd come by me, and in that final section, I dropped I was well ahead of him. I dropped a water bottle, and I had to go back, and I didn't want to lose a water bottle, that I got for free. And I had to go back and get the water bottle. And then there was that
That's
final.
That's the most Golson thing I've ever heard.
Yeah. I was like, I carried a water bottle in my pocket for aerodynamics the whole race. I did wear my aero socks, but anyway, I stopped at the top. I made a vow too. I was going to stop at every rest stop. I was like, I'm just going to stop at every rest stop and get water, because I don't want to dehydrate myself. And I stopped at that last rest stop on top of the super short climb. I filled up a water bottle that I knew I wasn't even going to drink. And then he blew by me. I was like, my enemy, So I caught him up, and then he made like a final move, and I countered his final move. And then I looked over at him. He's like,
much ago.
He's like, that's all I got. And then I just got down. And
did you talk afterward? You guys talk afterward?
No, but I found him on Strava, and we friended on Strava. Actually, I think
you guys are men of little words.
Yeah, we didn't hardly. I tried to talk to him. He just wasn't a talkative guy. He was like, I'm not. He was
on his limit.
He was on. Well, he was.
As good as you were feeling.
I was going. At one point, I was like, I'm going to force him to go around. So I slowed down to like 13, 12 miles an hour, and I'm like,
I did that.
I should have done the Justin thing, start flipping that elbow.
So when I caught that road group, I was tired of pulling. Yeah. I was like, finally, some people riding pretty quick, and of course, a downhill happens, and I like meander to like second wheel. The guy immediately pulls off, and I'm at the front. I go left. I'm like, I'm not pulling, and so I start going left to pull behind. They start following me. They pulled. They did what I do. I know that's my trick. They fall. 2 dudes followed me. Like, I ended up going almost all the way to the other side of the road, and the dude was like, "You're not gonna pull?" And I was like, "No." And so they went up the road, got back in, and I got back in like 10th wheel or something like that. But I didn't feel good till about like very end, and then all of a sudden I go into this course ends with like a cyclocross course.
Oh yeah.
And then all of a sudden I go into that gate with like 3 dudes. In my mind like clicked like, oh, this is fun. And I was like, oh, you guys are in trouble. Like, for sure. And me and a couple guys start like riding fast through the end, and I drop them in the cyclocross course. There you go, Justin. I might do cyclocross with you.
Please
I hit that.
Please do it with me.
Hey, I was my on that Strava segment. I'm 163rd on that cyclocross course out of like 1,000.
I don't know what I
railed that thing. It's hard because I was still in race mode because I was afraid that guy was going to sneak up again like he kept doing.
It's not actually like cyclocross, but it's in the grass and there's tape, and you got to take a couple rights and lefts across the grass. So don't get too excited.
Don't worry, I'm never doing this.
There's like 2 turns.
It's on my anniversary, and I can't think of a worse way to spend it.
I think if I remember right, there are 4 turns, but
okay, maybe.
It's just tape to tape, baby. That's all it is.
After all of that pretty boring gravel road, that is a spicy way to finish that ride.
So,
fun section.
We can move on from Dustbowl, but course-wise, like Matt said, this is like the perfect ride if you want to go do like your first century. This is an awesome ride to do that.
Support the food.
Yeah,
Yeah.
food is awesome. Great environment. It's organized. Awesome. No complaints at all there. I don't know. I've slept on it now. It's been a week. For sure that day, I was like, glad I did it. I don't think I will be back to this. And not because of anything wrong with the race. It was just kind of monotonous to me. But if I went again, I have like a baseline time. And now I'm like, oh, I could probably go if I did what Hargis did. Yeah. And
probably weasel my 40 minutes faster.
Yeah, weasel my way to the front. I'm like, yeah, I could probably just sit on.
Hey, Drew Dillman and Sean Hargis are both 125th on that cyclocross section. So Sean Hargis, there he is right there, 16 miles an hour. There's Dillman, 16 miles an hour. I guess he's never had to race that.
Yeah.
Like he's always been, I guess.
One of his videos he had to race it.
Yeah, he had to do it with
he got beat one time, I think.
Mark Miles beat him, who has, I think, won the Dirty South. He was there.
Mark Miles is from Owensboro, right?
I believe.
He's from that area. Well, that's cool. Well, let's move on to Spooky. We'll go down this side of the list, and we'll come back to that if we have time for that. Okay, so Spooky. We got a date for the Spooky Catalyst. That is the Touch of Nature ride. Oh, and we got the Soil Grand Prix up here. So that's the final stop on this year's Soil Grand Prix. Like I said, the premier racing league of Southern Illinois. That premier race, how premier it is that you can be in 4th place and have only done 1 race.
Well, we haven't had a drop or anything yet.
Yeah, so overall, Zach Wilkins, Ian Bolton, Adam Scrow, Nate Jones, Gabe, you're right, rounding out in 5th. Oh man, yeah, Hank, you moved way up. I moved way down. So
I'm bringing up the rear. Let's go.
Yeah,
No, there is two more below you.
Yeah. Okay, so
I feel okay with that.
Touch of Nature. I've been talking up to everybody I meet. Touch of Nature. I've been trying to sell bikes recently. I've sold a couple. I had sold a mountain bike the other day to a guy, and I was telling him.
I thought you meant for me.
No,
I thought you were sending people to me.
Old mountain bikes. Old mountain bikes that. Well, it was
these people don't want that geometry.
No, $75 for this mountain bike, and it was an aluminum bike that had been repaired. So. The famous Trek 69er.
You know, I saw you list that, and I was like, I didn't know it had been repaired, but I was like, that's kind of low for that bike. I would think you could put that on eBay and probably get a little more.
Well, it's probably worth more than $75, but
it's all tigged up.
I wanted to, it's literally been repaired, but it was a good repair. It lasted for years, and it's probably last that guy for years too if he rides it. But, okay, so what do we want to talk about Spooky?
So I've been getting a lot of questions. people coming in ask me when Touch of Nature is going to do, their race for the year. October 26th is when they're doing the race. I don't know how much it's going to be. I'm guessing probably like $35, $40. Touch of Nature always does. We were just talking about how Dustbowl does a really good event. Touch of Nature probably does one of the best.
Fantastic event.
Yeah, mountain bike events you can do. Guarantee they're going to have food. Guarantee they're probably going to have like a fire. They're going to have music. There's going to be people there.
It'd be a really, really fun place to hang out if you don't race.
Yeah.
And there's some cool places to kind of ride your bike around there too. Even if you want to just go hang out, there's probably like a little skills area, right?
Well, and there's a new trail that runs behind Camp 2.
Okay.
So I don't know if that's going to be part of the course or not. But now there's like a trail right. You don't even have to go all the way to Rocky Ledges or onto the course. There's a trail right there.
And do you know what distances they're going to have?
Once I won the sprint, I stopped. Once I dropped them, I kind of let up.
It's not important.
The Spooky Race, if they're going to do the beginner, sport, expert again, that type of thing? Have they announced
I
that?
have not been in contact with them, actually.
Or racing expert.
Yeah, I've kind of said that.
Unless it's two laps, like Glendale.
Yeah, if last year you got in the top 3 or 4 at all in sport class, I would say you need to move up to expert class and let you've graduated into.
So the only problem is if expert's 3 laps and
That's
you
a
want to
long
compete,
day.
well, yeah, that, but also 2, this is because I'm not racing expert. I'm not doing 3 laps.
So I'd say I'm going to try to
no way. I'm
talk
not an
them
expert.
into doing 2 laps
Good.
at that race, but we'll see what happens for that. But for sure, it's going to be a good event.
Yep.
Good course.
Looking forward to it.
It is the ultimate mountain bike area in Southern Illinois. I think for sure. I tell people I'm like if you want to enjoy mountain biking, go there. It'd be good any time of year when it's open. It does shut down when it's wet. That's one reason why the trails stay in good shape. All right, Hank.
Unless it's on the day of the Spooky Catalyst, which it rained. If you remember, how mucky that was.
Yeah.
It never got real deep though. You
Also,
never sunk in. It was just
real fast while we're talking mountain bikes. New trail at Lyerly Trailhead on Cedar Lake. Brand new built trail at Cedar Lake. Go ride that. And then also at Kincaid Lake, the Buttermilk Hill Trail. At that trailhead, brand new. It's open. Needs to get ridden. If you need more info and stuff about that, reach out to me. I'm more than happy to send you maps and let you know if that's like an acceptable ride to you. It is more backcountry. Be prepared for not necessarily like technical. It's no more technical than Touch of Nature, but it is more strenuous as in the climbs.
And you're actually going away from where you started. It's not like little loops or something like a bike park where you can easily get back to where you parked anywhere. You're going to go out 6 miles and I don't know what the course is like, but
something like that. But those trails need to be ridden.
Yeah.
And there's a YouTube video on Regular Guy Cycling of the Lyerly Trail. If you want to see what it looks like,
Awesome.
You see my butt a whole lot.
Yeah.
Awesome. Was that a Wednesday night ride?
It was a Wednesday night ride. It's a fun trail. Tough climb out. I walked way more than I ever do up a hill because I was smoked.
It's like that. All right.
Okay, our crit guy. Let's next on the list. Gateway's coming up, and then Edwardsville.
Edwardsville is in 2 weeks. Edwardsville Rotary, downtown crit, 6 corner, little punchy cobble hill thing. It's definitely a lot of fun. It'll be my first race as a Cat 3, so we'll see how that goes. They do have
should go good.
Oh, so here's the thing: is I got to figure out.
Maybe you won't crash this one.
Hopefully. I didn't crash last one.
No, I'm just kidding.
But so they have like a Masters 35 Plus open, a 3-4, and then a P123, and I don't know which one I want to do. Yeah, see, it's
Do the P123.
Yeah, maybe. And
Get in there.
Gateway's 2 weeks later, Labor Day weekend. I'll be there racing the 3s, trying to keep it upright.
And for those who don't know, Gateway is a week's worth of crits in the St. Louis area, huh?
It's 4 days.
4 days, almost a week worth of crits.
You teacher.
yeah. 4 days of crits in the St. Louis area, and one of them is an ACC crit, I think, right? Yeah, it's part of, it's kind of usually kind of a big deal. I've never been to it because I'm usually back to school, and like by that point, I don't feel like it's always around Labor Day.
It's Labor Day weekend, yeah. So I'll be I have to teach a class until noon that day.
Oh wow.
And my race is at 4:15, so it's going to be like go home, pick up Crystal and the dogs. We're going.
Yeah. I've been kind of like kind of turned off on crits lately just because I don't know, I feel like the risk is grown for me. I don't know. I just haven't been very sharp lately on the bike, and I've been thinking I'm going to pass out or run into somebody and die. So I haven't wanted to do any crits lately, really. Like even the practice crits, I've been kind of like, I don't know, I'm just not feeling it. So
that's been Hank and Justin workout days.
yeah,
Yeah.
those are good workouts.
I've fallen off.
Yeah, everybody's kind of falling off. It's just been me and Hank and doing stupid shit.
Getting ready.
Yeah, just
That's-
hanging out. It's work. I mean, I'm getting good workouts. I don't know if you're getting anything out. I'm getting really
smoked right now.
But good workouts. You're getting ready for the senior games.
Yes, October 5th.
Oh, I missed that.
Illinois Senior Games, formerly known as the Illinois Senior Olympics, but they were told not to use that title anymore by the Olympics. So, Senior Games, there will be a October 5th, Saturday morning, there'll be a 5K time trial. And then about 90 minutes later, they start the road race, 20K road race. They throw us all on the road together. It's up northwest of Springfield, about 15, 20 miles outside of the city. This year is a qualifier for Nationals, which will be in Iowa City, Iowa in 2025. So if you want to go to Nationals, this is a great year to do it.
What do they do to verify age? Like social security numbers and...
You just register with your date of birth. You need to be in the picture.
Keep talking. Keep talking.
When you register, they ask you your date of birth and all that information, like any other race does. And
Look at that! I was born in '63.
they haven't checked anything that I'm aware of.
There's one of the only pictures I found of myself at the Dustbowl. That is an apt name for that place because
graybeard.
Oh yeah, I looked like I had aged 25, 30 years.
Yeah,
like all my little wrinkles that I had accentuated because the dust, and my beard was full of dust.
Yeah,
it was.
Yeah, Dust Bowl's dusty.
So I just have to show them that picture, and
there you go.
They'll let me in.
I just have to show my grays. It's fine.
Yeah, but you don't have to do, if you go to the cycling, the senior games, you don't have to do both events.
It's a time trial and road race.
Yes, but not everyone has to do that. Those are two different races to qualify for the Nationals, and you can do both of them at Nationals. I'm planning on doing both of them, but some people just toe the line for the 20K, and some people just come out and do the 5K time trial.
20K.
A 5K time trial.
I know, 12 miles.
That's like 340
Yeah.
for...
You're like, it's just a warm-up, but do a 5K all out first.
Well, no, I'm saying that's I wasn't saying like that's easy. I'm saying that's all out.
So what's the
Except it's not.
so the
Plus 3 miles are.
the 5K?
Uh-huh.
What kind of times are
Go
winning
away.
that?
Yeah.
So for Illinois, plus or minus 8 minutes. For the national level, they're down in the 6-minute range.
Yeah, that's fast.
Well, Hank's got to do well because he told me a little secret that might happen if he does well. So
EPO.
yeah. Just test. It's fine.
He's on the senior care plan. Getting
What
I'm looking forward to the secret.
What was the term for the on the Zwift that Hank and I didn't know that?
What is it?
It wasn't juice, was it?
It was something. Oh yeah, whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
So speaking of seniors and doing things, Golson, you're clearing out the Ren Lake trails, the North Markham trails for.
well, okay, so so the North Markham Trail. I just wanted to throw this in today. On September 28th, I'm going to plan some kind of ride there, kind of a fun community ride. It'll probably be about 5 miles around the trail. That is National Public Lands Day, which I did not know that when I presented this. But so Ren Lake has a couple of really great they call them students, but they don't look like students when you see them because one of them's pretty old and the other guy's got a I don't know, they're students, but they wear uniforms and carry badges. They want to be rangers, so they're I guess you could call that an internship type thing. And but they do a lot of work at Wren Lake. I ran into one of them. I was riding this morning around the lake, and I ran into one of the guys carrying around a bag, and he's like, yeah, I'm out checking the geocaches, and I was like, oh man. So they're always doing something there, but they have done a lot of work on Wren Lake Trail because I kind of quit in the summer. I don't really like mountain biking that much in the summer, especially on trails that are in tight woods where they're, it's like when I finish a ride there in the summer, I look like Indiana Jones, like I'm covered in spider webs. I can't see, I'm usually about 20 ticks on me when I get home, but they have been mowing it and clearing it and doing a lot of work. And I went out and we did a little work together the other day, but, to kind of like showcase the fact that the trail last year at the end of summer, it was terrible. And I got some people together and we cleaned it up and it was really fun to ride it. I mean, I was like out there all the time in fall and early winter. It's going to be in great shape this year without having to go out and like clear the trail. It's already clear. It's already great. So September 28th, we're going to kind of organize a little group ride. I'm really targeting kids and people who don't really ride mountain bikes. If you are a great mountain bike rider, you could probably do 2 laps, maybe 3. I'll hopefully be able to get a group there that can finish 5 miles. There's a e-bike rentals place, Wren Lake e-bike rentals. They'll probably be involved in this, maybe throwing out some free bike rentals for people. So that'll be a cool event. Celebrate National Lands Day, Public Lands Day.
Is there gonna be food, or are we bringing grills? And like,
there's supposed to be. We're talking about having a food truck there.
Okay, food truck.
So that's Gabe has done something to me on his phone.
All these young guys with their apps.
Oh man,
They're Indianapolis Jones.
Yeah. Okay, so the last thing on our list to talk about today, I was going to talk about sailing. I flipped my sailboat over today, but that's not really cycling, so we won't talk about that. But Wednesday nights at St. Nick's MDH, I have always loved for years the Tuesday night ride at St. Nick's in DuQuoin. It's flat, so I like that. It used to be really, really punchy. Like a lot of fast dudes would show up, and it would kind of turn into like one of those sort of like segment races. There's a segment, we'll hammer it. There's another segment, we'll hammer it. And hey, we're still going.
You can come on.
You can come in though.
No, that's not the point. I could have been shopping longer.
You shopping here?
Yeah. There's a lot of shopping here. You can buy me something. So anyway, I went to the first time. So this was kind of funny. I live in Benton, and I've assumed to get to this ride would be very far, because in my mind it takes an hour to get to Carbondale, and then this is past Carbondale. And so I was like, I'm not going to that ride. It's like an hour and 15 minutes. And then at Dustbowl, Hargis was like, it takes 40 minutes to get there from Benton. So we went together, and it's a killer ride, man. This ride is got tons of spirit. There was a lot of climbing, a lot of places for you to I don't know.
Have fun on bikes.
Have fun on bikes.
I thought you were going to say attack.
Attack, yeah. A lot of places to attack. But if you don't know the course, it's easy to miss turns. So it's like one of those things, attack. I think that's one of the reasons why they like to keep the courses kind of secret. They don't put a route out there. If you do go out and attack, then it's like you have to find a spot to wait for everybody else to know where to go next. But it's a really fun ride. And the mountain bike bros show up sometimes when it's wet. They hammer it.
That's what I've heard.
That's the story.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah.
It's not on purpose. I don't know.
So
Yeah.
I guess the other thing, I love the MDH ride, but Saturday rides are getting popular.
Yeah.
Saturday mornings from the shop, 8 a.m. There's like an A-B group. Gabe's favorite, you got to do 17 mile an hour and not talk ride.
At least till we get to 13. Don't talk to me.
It's early still.
It's early. The coffee hasn't kicked in. That's fine. But recently, probably the one that a lot of people are interested in and a lot of people should be doing is the 9 o'clock ride from here. My wife has volunteered some time. And it's also me trying to motivate her to get back on the bike to come out and do a group at like 10 to 15 mile an hour. Last week they did 13 mile an hour average. She had like 5 or 6 people show up.
How far did they go?
20 miles?
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so they did like an hour and a half. What was that?
Well, that's awesome because we need more of that. Because like, not everybody wants to go out and ride themselves into the ground.
Yeah, of course. So, and they're doing like laps to the refuge. So, if you want to go faster than everybody for a lap, you just lap the field.
Yeah.
If you want to not go faster than everybody else, you just sit up and let the field lap you. One thing that I was hoping to work with them on is just kind of something I was working with some of the newer riders on the AB ride, which is like how to ride a pace line, how to get comfortable sitting on somebody's wheel, kind of pushing people up there. So one of these days I'll probably actually drop back, do that ride, ride a mountain bike or something.
Yeah, I do think the Saturday morning group ride here at the shop is probably the most chill group ride out of them. And we have like 2 routes.
Yep.
It's a very, very well organized group ride, you know, as far as like maintained togetherness.
Or we try to.
And and it gives you options. It's a good ride. Nobody's going to get left behind. And it's a cool ride.
Yeah.
I'd like to do it more often. I'd like to do it tomorrow.
We're here.
Maybe I'll come.
I'll be here.
Yeah,
I'll be here.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I'll probably come back here because
I'll be here.
don't sound happy
You
about
live
it.
here.
Yeah. This is my home.
Well, anything else you guys want to cover today?
No, I think we're
I
good.
think that's it.
Try to
You
be
don't want to
back
hear
in-
about me flipping my sailboat? Not really.
No,
We can talk about it.
I just got back in it. That's all there was to it. There's a lot
I heard
of.
you lost a water bottle.
I lost a water ball. It was sad. It was sad.
You'll have to do another 100-mile race and get a free
Yeah,
one.
I'll have to get another water ball. I've got 2. I've got Hank's. I
Oh,
borrowed.
is it your Dustbowl water bottle that you almost lost?
No,
Oh, okay.
it was it was like one of those. It was like a, just
LG
a,
type.
yeah, just a good bottle I carry around when I go places. And I lost it. So it's floating around out in Wren Lake. If you find it, give it to me.
Message in a bottle.
Gosh. Well,
Just as help. It says Golson with his number etched in the bottom.
Missing person report.
yeah. Hey, I bought a pair of bike shoes at the Ross store the other day. Dress for less. They had Nike bike shoes for $13. So
Do they fit?
yeah, they're size. Yeah, they're my size. Yeah, they're like they got 2-hole or 3-hole option cleats. I think they're designed for the Peloton crowd.
And that is where you fit in.
yeah, they're not real stiff, but they're really flashy, really cool graphics. Well, guys, I think we're out of things to talk about. It's been a lot of fun. We will probably be back in somewhere between 2 weeks and 2 months, depending on how things go.
That's your new nickname. I think that's your new nickname. Not stiff, but flashy.
Oh no!
And with that,
Gotta go get him.
and with that, we'll sign off here. It's been Matt.
Gabriel.
Justin.
Hank.
Good one. Later, guys.